Hey there everybody, it's Val and drumroll please. I'm 1 year on T! And yeah, I'm very happy to be finally able to make this video. If you haven't noticed, I am wearing the same exact outfit as in my beginning, like my video that I made last year about finally being on T. Kind of a neat callback, I thought it would be. This year has been a whirlwind. Because like the 2019 part of it was like very great. It was probably like the best year of my life for many reasons. So many great things happened. And then 2020 started and like shit hit the fan like really hard. It's only been like what, 4 months since 2020 started. It feels like each month was a different year. On the 1st of April 2019, I was put on Tostrix, which is testosterone gel. I started taking it immediately the day after, so on the 2nd of April 2019, and I was put on 20 milligrams daily, which is half of the normal dose, but I was just starting out. I did that for the first 4 months, and then I was supposed to up my dose, but spoiler alert, that never happened, because when I had my second endocrinologist appointment to get checked out, my doctor forgot to prescribe my blood tests properly, so I couldn't get my dose changed. Left that for my next appointment, which was my 8 months appointment. Except they couldn't alter my dose either because because Italy is a fucking nightmare. We went through a testosterone shortage, so the brand that I was using was like sold out everywhere, so they changed my prescription from 20 milligrams daily of Tostrix to Sustanon injections, which is intramuscular. 1 injection every 4 weeks, which is the normal amount, but I've noticed that for my body it very much is way too little. I should get it every 3 weeks. Like at the 3rd week, I feel like my testosterone levels, I can physically feel my testosterone levels like physically plummeting. Trigger warning for periods, but on Tostrix, after the 3rd or 4th month or so, my periods had stopped. But now that I'm on Sustanon, every 4 weeks, so like right before I get my new shot, I get my period, which is a clear indication that my testosterone levels are way too low after 3 weeks. I was supposed to get that changed. I was so sure that it was going to get like changed at my next appointment, except my next appointment was supposed to be on the 30th of March. And we all know what happened. The fucking plague happened, so of course I couldn't go to my endocrinologist appointment. So as of today, I've spent 1 year on a very low dose of testosterone. Some of the changes, when I look back on them, feel a little underwhelming, and I feel that's the reason, because I think when I finally can get put on a normal dose for what my body requires, I will finally feel up to par. Because, I mean, I have some fantastic changes, but there's a couple of things that, I still kind of like feel a bit about. Without further ado, what have been the changes? The first thing that I noticed, like almost right away, was body hair. And I think it's also because of the kind of testosterone that I was taking, because testosterone gel is very good at making your hair grow where you put it. So since I was on a very low dose, I wasn't changing my placement. Like, you're supposed to rub it on your belly, on your thighs, and on your arms, and switch around the location of where you use it every day. But since my dose was so low, I didn't have to do that, because the reason why you do that is because your skin gets irritated and flaky, and mine wasn't doing that because the dose was low, so I didn't think, I really had to change the placement, which is why, like, almost immediately I started growing a shit ton of hair on my belly. I've always been hairy, like, way before T, but my whole torso was a place where I didn't grow any hair at all. I grew a lot of hair on my legs, on my pelvis, and on my mustache area. In those areas I grew a lot of hair, and very dark hair, but everywhere else I didn't really grow any hair at all. And I started getting like a happy trail. I think 3 or 4 months I had like a full belly of hair. I think my body hair plateaued at around 6 months. All up until here, I am covered in hair like a fucking grizzly. I think my legs could belong to Bigfoot. And then up here I have some fuzz, which is visible, and some hair on like my chest. Another thing that changed very soon after I started tea was my veins. Like I had more noticeable veins on my hands. I always had also very defined hands, but still I never had this thing where like when I'm tensing my hands, my veins show like here on my knuckles. It's something that I find very aesthetically appealing, and it never happened to me, and now it's happening every single time I tense my hands. And I think that's stayed pretty much the same. It's gotten a little bit more intense lately, but not by that much. I'm very happy with my hands, by the way. Very, very much. Like, they were one of the first things changed so much that when I looked at them, I felt like that was part of my body, even before anything else changed. I think they got a bit bigger, maybe thicker, because I think there's a bigger difference between my wrist and my hand than there was before. And I know for a fact that my wrists and my arms did not get any smaller because I've been taking measurements and they've gotten actually bigger. So definitely my hands have gotten a lot bigger than before. I think it's probably muscle tone or something like that. Definitely, I know bones can't grow on tea after a certain age, so I don't know what that is, but they're bigger. Something that frustrated me a lot was my voice, because I don't know if you can hear it. Like, my voice is fine right now, I think. I'm kind of okay with it. But I'm not 100% satisfied with it. I did not have the big drop that most guys on tea get after 3 or 4 months. At the 3 or 4 month mark, my voice was lower than what it was before, but it was still very much the same exact voice as before, just in a lower pitch. And it was incredibly frustrated, and it wasn't until like 6-7 months that my voice started actually changing in timbre. And then like around 9 to 10th months, it reached the depth that it has right now, which is, according to Voice Pitch Analyzer, a masculine depth. But I still don't think I've reached that 100% masculine timbre. Like right now my voice is pretty androgynous, and I can make it, and if I try kind of hard, I can make it even more masculine. But it doesn't take that much to try to make it feminine again, you know? It's kind of like, I have an androgynous timbre right now, and I can reach a masculine depth if I try. But the voice in itself isn't inherently masculine. And again, I don't think I've had like that drop, that physical drop that turns your voice timbre from feminine to masculine. I don't think I've had that at all. I'm hoping that as more years on tea pass, my voice changes still a bit more, but I don't know, I guess if it doesn't, I'll just have to learn with sounding the way I do. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's not like an ugly voice. It doesn't sound bad. I don't think it matches with the way I see myself and I think that I look. My face structure started changing at around 4th and 5th month mark. Of course, my jawline got wider, but also, just in general, my face got bigger, and not like as in fat or anything, which is not a bad thing, but it's not what happened. My face has just gotten bigger. Like if you compare, if you put side to side a picture of me just started tea and a picture of me right now, you can see that I have the same exact glasses, and they look smaller because my face around them is bigger. I think I'm going to put like comparisons because I took that. Also, another thing that changed is my chin. So I am very self-conscious about my chin because I have a very small chin and a bit of a receding chin. Because I had braces when I was a kid, but I didn't get them quick enough. Like I got them when I was 14, and I should have gotten them when I was 10, but we are poor, so when I was 10 I couldn't afford to get braces, and that fucked up my entire jawline. It's a big insecurity of mine, but it's gotten bigger. Like my entire jawline and chin area has gotten bigger. It's not quite where I would want it to be, but it's gotten good enough that I don't feel as bad about it. On a day-to-day basis, I can go by without thinking too much about my chin, which is not something that I could have said about it before. Also, like, my profile has changed a lot. I was hoping for this, but like, if you see my brow bone, it's gotten more prominent than before. My nose has gotten bigger. I used to have like a pretty pointy nose at the end. The bowl of my nose, like the bowl at the end of my nose, is more spherical, and the point is not, it's more rounded instead of like pointy, which I don't mind. It's fine. Facial hair, on the other hand, I always had a mustache even before testosterone. Of course, it was shorter and lighter and, you know, less noticeable than it is right now, but For being pretty, it was like a pretty noticeable mustache. Obviously, that was the first thing that started growing more. The hair around my chin didn't really start showing until I think month 7 or so. Around 5 to 6 months, I had like one chin hair here. And then gradually more started appearing around it. And then slowly I started having more hair around just this area. And also here. And most of all, I've grown a lot of hair right here. I haven't shaved it because I'm challenging myself to see how much I can grow it if I don't shave it until the lockdown is over. So don't judge me for too much for it. I know it's gross. I will shave it eventually. I just want to see how far it can grow. And I also have a few baby hairs around here, but they still aren't noticeable. So yeah, that's where my beard is. Now I want to talk about bottom growth, and I'm going to leave, a timestamp here for when you should skip to if you don't want to hear it. So there you go. Also, content warning, I'm going to be using probably anatomical terms here and there. You've been warned. Bottom growth was another thing that I started noticing like right away. Like the day I started tea, not joking. My dick before, it wasn't like small, it was like pretty much average. Within a week it had grown out up to like a centimeter in size. Like I think before it was the circumference of the tip of my pinky finger. And for the first like 5 months or so, it was like each month it grew to the size of the next finger in diameter. Right now I think it's about 6 centimeters. If I pull it out from my body, it's about this long, but when I don't, it's like this long. Another thing that changed is everything around it. I've only just reached the point where my dick protrudes out without me doing anything about it, not because it wasn't long enough before, but because the labia around it was growing alongside it, so that you always encompassed it as it grew. But it was definitely longer than before because I knew what my junk looked like before I started tea, and I knew that my labia was like tight, like up in my body, like snug around my pelvis. And as my dick grew, it also grew to hang around it, like kind of hanging, like a bit like a pair of balls. I'm sorry if the comparison is weird or gross in some way. And like right now, it kind of like all hangs together, kind of like a scrotum, which is something that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, that happened. Another bottom change that I had is like my secretions changed. I'm sorry if this might be really gross, but I just want to, put it out there so that if anyone wants to know this info, it's here. Again, if you want to skip, you know where the timestamp when this all ends is, so you can skip. You can not listen if you don't want to. If you are a HAFib and you have that kind of junk, you know that, the body secretes mucus and other stuff that are just, there to make everything function normally. And my entire life, my secretions have been like this kind of thick, viscous, and whitish substance. And after a few months into it became like clear. And like if you ever interacted with an AMAP person's genitals and they are not on estrogen, think about their secretions. Mine have become like pretty much the same. Like that's what it looks like. It's clear and it smells exactly like what would come out of a cis penis. Again, sorry if this was gross. I just really wanted the information to be out there because not a lot of people talk about this. And the last thing that I want to talk about is fat redistribution. That was one of the things that I was looking forward to most because I had gigantic like body dysphoria for the way my body looked. Like trigger warning for body image discussion and eating disorder mentioned, but I've struggled so much with the way my body looks. I have been through almost constant eating disorders pretty much since I started puberty, which at times was like generical and just in my thoughts, and other times brought me to starve myself to almost to the point of dying, where like no joke, at one point I literally almost died because I was so malnourished. And because I wanted to erase my curves and my feminine features. I thought if I was all bones, then it would be androgynous at least, and that's what drove me to to kind of to hate my body and to destroy it as much as I did. And of course that wasn't sustainable, because while at my lowest point and when I was at my thinnest, I felt more comfortable because in fact my body was more androgynous. I was also absolutely not sustainable. That was the point where I was dying. So I had to get healthier if I didn't want to die at like 16. And of course my healthy body was not something that I was in any position to like ever. So I just hated it. I spent like late teenage years just hating everything about my body, everything. Before I started T, I was pretty much in the mindset of, okay, so as soon as I start T, I have to starve myself for like a year so that fat redistribution takes away all of my feminine fat, and then I can eat as much as I want and get as fat as I want, because the fat won't store back into feminine places. Which is a fucked up way of thinking it, but that's the way I was thinking it. Things didn't go that way, very much fortunately. I don't know if you know, but testosterone makes your appetite grow a lot, and I have no self-control because I spent so much time starving myself. After I recovered from almost dying, I think I fucked up something in my brain where even if I feel the slightest pang of hunger, I just immediately, I don't see anymore. I just shovel my face until I'm full. Because I think I've triggered that, like, that survival instinct in my brain that says, okay, you're hungry, you might starve, go eat right now. Like, no joke, as soon as I get hungry, like, all my rational thoughts shut off. I just think on instinct and I'm like, okay, food, right now. Which is, and, you know, being hungrier than I was before on T, I was just, like, eating constantly for the first few months, which also wasn't very healthy, but it was better than the alternative, because I wasn't like, it's not like I was overeating to the point where I was hurting myself. I was just eating a little bit more than I should have, which is fine. Also watering, but I'm going to use numbers because I want to, you know, everything to be clear and said out loud. But if you are triggered easily by numbers like I am, just don't listen to this part. Like, I'm going to put another timestamp here to when I don't talk about numbers anymore. Just don't listen. Before I started TA, was about 45 kilos, which is a very, because I am 1 meter and 65 centimeters tall, which is like 5'4", I think. But then between like the first 3 to 4 months, it kind of like skyrocketed up to 58, 59 kilos, which is a bit higher. Like, it wasn't all muscle, it was just me like eating every other hour. And again, I mean, it was fine. Like, I didn't look that much different, would still call myself at a healthy weight, and I wasn't overweight by any stretch of the word. But I was kind of uncomfortable with it because my entire life I've been so focused on being as small as possible. So that was kind of a uncomfortable change. For a while I felt pretty negative about it. I felt like, oh, not only tea has not changed my body, but it also made me hungrier, and now I'm fat. Which I wasn't. It was just my fucked up brain thinking. Not that it's bad being fat, again, just my brain being a shit. Then a month like 7-ish, things actually started changing. I've been taking constant comparison pictures of my body and also measurements to, you know, document and see if my body changes at all. And I've noticed that around month 7, my body was different. Like, my shoulders were much wider and my hips, they hadn't gotten that much smaller, but because my waist was larger and my shoulders were also larger, my hips looked smaller. And I was very, very happy about that. Like, that pushed me forwards positively. And so I guess last month I started thinking, you know, I'm trying to be as healthy as possible about this. I just don't enjoy the fact that I spent the past basically year essentially finishing a whole bag of cookies every day, which, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't care. I just think that for myself, I want to be a little bit healthier, so I just stopped doing that. And as soon as I stopped doing that, I started dropping weight like fucking crazy. Like, I swear, I'm eating so much and so healthily. Again, as I said, I'm not physically capable of holding myself back when I'm hungry, so it's not like I'm starving myself. I'm literally just, the only thing I did was not eat cookies every day. And I've lost almost all of the weight that I've gained. Looking at myself in comparison pictures, my body is so much different. Just for the past month, I feel so great about my body. I don't understand it. It's like, it's a new feeling to me. I'll take it. I'm happy about it. So yeah, fat redistribution has happened very recently, and I am very happy about it. One last thing that I want to talk about that I forgot to talk about, and that is my hairline. Your boy is going bald. Just kidding, not yet, I hope. Because my family on one side has a history of like going bald at like 24, and on the other side the trend is pretty much like having very thick hair up until their 60s. So I hope I've taken from them and this is just my hairline readjusting itself, but my hairline. So it's definitely a lot higher up than it was before. My hair used to end like here, like it was like round, like here, and now it's all of this part has receded, and I don't really like it because it's very round. Like, it's definitely a more masculine hairline, but it's really round, and I think it kind of makes me look like Zach Cornfield from the Try Guys, which, I mean, no shade, he's not like he's ugly, it's just not my ideal of the kind of man that I want to look like. I mean, I don't care if I go bald. Like, I care, but it's not such a major deterrent. It's kind of like, you know, one of those things that if it happens, it happens. I'll deal with it when it comes. For now, I'll enjoy my hair while I have it. And yeah, that was a year summed up. I hope I can skim this down a lot, because looking at my viewfinder right now, I've been talking for like 40 minutes, shit. Before I go on the comparisons, I just want to make a small update that, about the situation that I was talking about. I was able to get my shot. So I wasn't able to renew my prescription, but I was able to buy another vial of testosterone anyway, thank God. So at least for the month of April, I'm set. So, and hopefully this whole lockdown business doesn't go over April, like, it should end by mid-April at least, which is a pretty good time for it to end. Now on to the comparisons.
Hi, I'm Val, and this is my last day before testosterone. It's Val, and this is my voice. 1 week on testosterone. It's Val, and this is my voice. 2 weeks on T. Good morning. I'm Val, and this is my voice. 3 weeks on T. Val here, and this is my voice. 1 month on T.
Technically, it hasn't been 2 months. It's still a week until the 2-month mark. But I just wanted to do a quick voice update. Yeah, I'm Val, and this is my voice. 7 weeks on T.
Started to get like seriously frustrated with how little my voice has dropped, because like it's almost been 3 months and it's like barely any different. It's been a while since my last update, actually, so yeah, I'm Val and this is my voice. 4 months on T. As you can hear, my voice still hasn't dropped. Well, hello there. Guess what time it is? That's right, I'm 5 months on T, so this is my voice 5 months on T, and yes, still pretty much the same.
Well, guess what? I almost forgot that it's my 6 months on T, so here's a voice update or whatever. Guess who forgot that it was time to do the voice update? Yeah, that's right, it's me. I'm 7 months on T. You guessed it, it's the time of the month where I do my voice update. So, I'm Val and this is my voice 8 months on T. Yeah, I almost forgot to do this again. I'm Val and this is my voice 9 months on T. Woo! Guess what? I forgot to do my voice update again. Yeah, this is my voice 10 months on T. So, I've only just woken up, but just so I don't forget, here's my voice 11 months on T. I'm Val and this is my voice 1 year on testosterone.
Hi, I'm Val, and this is my last day before testosterone.
I'm Val and this is my voice 1 year on testosterone. So, this has been a year. Not gonna lie, I've already said this in a past video, but I just want to reiterate how much this has changed my life. Like, again, there are some things that I still don't feel very comfortable or like satisfied with, like my voice, or I think my face has changed a lot, but I still think my face looks kind of too androgynous and too childish for my liking. I hope with more time it can be a bit more defined, a bit less chubby, a bit less round, and a bit more square looking. And I hope my voice still has a long way to go before it's done changing. But aside from that, I'm so much happier than I was before. Like, the time right before I started tea was probably the worst time of my life. I was doing so low and so... I was in a bad place. I was in such a bad place, and now I am happy probably for the first time in my life. Like, I've never felt this alright for such a long period of time, not even when I was a child. So, I hope it continues. And I hope it just gets better from there. I hope that the world doesn't end in 2020. It looks like it might. I hope it doesn't, because it would be pretty fucked up if the apocalypse happened like just now that I've started my actual life. But you never know. We'll see it when we see it. And yeah, I hope the new years that come are full of much more of this. And I hope you enjoyed yourself for the ride. I think this is where I stopped making monthly update videos, because I think I've served my purpose for that. Like, after the first year, it's not like there's something new every month. When something new happens, I'll talk about it when it happens, and then I'll make a recap at the end of the year. But I'll try to do something with this channel anyways, because I want to. But yeah, so it's been a ride. Thank you for being with me along for the ride, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a great time. I hate how the more I talk, the more like my voice gets high pitched. Like, I wish I could like keep it cooled like this the whole time.